It's pretty rare when the Lexus global site in Japanese has a parallel update on the North American site, and both of them are singing the same song. The 2025 Lexus RC and RCF is the final year that you can get your hands on a brand new RC Coupe. The writing's been on the wall for a long time. We'll go down memory lane today. We'll also talk about what's new for this final year, this final edition of the RC and RCF. Pour one out for our homies, buckle up, and let's get into it. A little over a decade, 10 years, the RC has been available for purchase. There has not been a whole lot of updates along the way, and that's all right. I mean, when this design came out a decade ago, it was head-turning, a beautiful coupe. It is still beautiful to this day. After more than 10 years, over 90,000 units in 62 countries, they're officially being discontinued at the conclusion of this model year. And stay to the end because we'll talk about what Lexus plans on doing with their coupes going forward. All right. They can't just discontinue the RC and say, hey, we're just going to be a crossover brand. Maybe some sedans in there. They could go that route, but we'll entertain that here at the end. We do see some changes to the 25 model year, and the RCF will only be offered in a single spec final edition. There's no track edition like we've seen in years past of the RCF. These 25 models will be arriving in the first quarter of this year. Man, it's just sad. This comes off the backs of what a couple years ago Infiniti killed their Q50. Coupes just don't sell well. And, you know, here's Honda in the background reintroducing a coupe, the Prelude. Possibly Acura introducing coupes on their end as an Integra coupe. That's still a possibility. I know those cars don't really compete with a rear-wheel drive powerhouse like the RC and the Q50 Red Sport, for example, but they're Japanese premium brands, and when we don't have them anymore, coupes anymore, and these premium brands, they lose a part of their identity. Absolutely, Lexus coupes have been around since 91. When the first generation SC400 and SC300 came out. Beautiful cars, essentially a gussied up Supra. They shared the same platform with the Mark IV Supra. We eventually got the introduction of the second generation SC with the 430, the 4.3 liter V8. Radical design. They're still really weird looking cars. They're supposed to be styled after boats. I'll go and put on the screen what year the SC430 was discontinued. I would probably say the late 2000s, 2009 or something. We even had some IS convertibles in the meantime to bridge the gap until the RC came and the LC came. All right. Of course, you had the LFA in there, but that's an outlier for sure. All right, so we're seeing the end of the RC's era here for 2025. The LC, I hope we don't get this announcement for the luxury coupe with the 5-liter V8, one of the most beautiful coupes available. I hope we don't get a follow-up for the discontinuation of the LC. But the good news is if we go back to the Japanese site, they said that they just updated the LC for the 25 model year. Probably got at least another year on life support. Let's talk about some powertrains. Yes, there's a 2-liter and the rear-wheel drive only RC in America. Once you went to all-wheel drive, they went to V6s. If you got the RCF, of course, that was rear-wheel drive V8. But we never got the rear-wheel drive RC hybrid that other markets saw. And keep in mind, the RC has been discontinued in many markets up until this point. It's been gone in Australia. It's been gone in much of Europe. It's only a matter of time it was discontinued here. All right. I mentioned the all-wheel drive models also ditch the 4-cylinder. They also ditch the 8-speed auto for the 6-speed auto with a 260 horsepower, a little bit detuned 3.5-liter V6. And then you went to the 350, which gave you the fully tuned 311 horsepower, 3.5-liter V6. For 2025, the only update to the non-FRC would be the available orange brake calipers on the F Sport rear-wheel drive models changed to red. I don't know if that's going to be convincing for anyone. You can always change the color of your brake calipers on your own if you wanted to. All right, RCF. It's a single spec. Building off of the previous year's carbon package, the final edition receives mechanical and aesthetic improvements to further complement the GT3-inspired looks, cunning dynamics, and naturally aspirated 5-liter V8 producing 472 horsepower. The RCF is fantastic. Now, the issue is, yes, it's very, very capable around a track, but the reason this car stayed around so long, the RC, is because Lexus has been into racing for a long time. The LC has never been quite competitive on its platform to be a good race car. That's why they ditched the LCF and they started building something from the ground up, which is we'll talk about that later. But the RCF and the RC needed to be around for homologation purposes with their GT3 racing class and racing cars. So the RC has been around for a long time as a GT3 racer. With it being discontinued, that means the LFR is right around the corner. A purpose-built race car that also happens to be, you can get it in pedestrian spec, all right, or rich man spec that you can legally drive on the streets. So now that we're getting the discontinuation of the RCF, it kind of moves up to date what's been in testing for a long time, which is the LFR, or what we're expecting to be called the LFR. There could be some Gazoo Racing badging on it as well, which would be kind of strange because we don't see any Gazoo Racing. Oh man, I know that, like, I'm just branching. I haven't had time to think about this. I just saw this morning. So now that the RCF is dead, there is no F product at all. With the GSF gone, the ISF gone, there's no full-blown F anymore. All right. And this might lead us to those rumors talking about the LFR not being an F model whatsoever. This is Akio Toyota's opportunity to branch away from F and just to do Gazoo Racing on everything, from the Toyota end all the way up to the Lexus end. I don't know how I feel about it. If the cars perform well, really that's all that matters. It is just sad to see the end of the F era happening right now for 2025. I don't see it coming back. It's been neglected. It's been underthought. It's been under-executed. And yeah, rest in peace, F, it sounds like. Don't put a nail in it yet, but essentially, with the RCF being the last year with no replacement with an F model at all, it's dead. It's gone. F is gone. So it's like, well, what is Lexus going to do with F Sport? They're just going to GR Sport things? It's possible. I just don't know. Are we going to see a GR a Lexus IS? It's possible. I just don't know how Lexus is going to evolve this performance branding that we see on the Toyota lineup into the Lexus lineup. It's bizarre, and just a result of Toyota's and Lexus's poor vision with performance in their luxury brand. Let's get into what's new on the RCF, though. Again, it's building off last year's carbon spec. The final edition will be available in 4 exterior colors: Incognito, Radiant Red, Sonic Iridium, and Ultra White. Standard exterior features include the triple beams, the trippies, along with the carbon fiber roof, side rocker panels, front spoiler, rear diffuser, lightweight 19-inch BBS alloy wheels, red brake calipers, black automatic folding door mirrors, and an active rear wing rounds out the exterior upgrades, further adding both function and flair to the muscular coupe. So no track edition. All right, inside the RCF Final Edition, they get a bespoke black and red ultra suede trimmed interior that comes standard with the Marky Mark Levinson system and a 10-inch touchscreen. A carbon fiber Final Edition emblem adorns the front console, signifying each car's production number and its limited run. Keep in mind, it also still has a CD player. It still has the touchpad. In addition to the touchscreen, it has the old Lexus Toyota software in there. Of course, we're not going to change the safety of the final year. So I have the pricing to compare this year to last year. Here we go. Down at the bottom, you see 24, and then up top, you see 25. It looks like they've increased prices $500-$600 across the board. The final edition RCF is exorbitantly expensive because it's not that much of an upgrade, if at all. It's just kind of get the final edition badging compared to last year's. Like you're saying it's worth All right, so I just did the math. The RCF cost 25,000 plus more dollars than it did last year just to get this final edition. They're just going for collectors right here, but the track edition was only 6,000 more than the final edition and was more capable and had the big wing on the back. And don't think it's worth the 25 grand, in my opinion, upgrade for the RCF final edition. All right, so I'm pulling up two images real quick. This car on the bottom is actually supposed to replace the RC and the LC both. So, you know, the RC has been a more affordable coupe, the LC, the flagship coupe, and we don't know what kind of powertrains, twin turbo V6 they're talking, twin turbo V6 hybrid, who knows. This vehicle in theory is supposed to come out. In theory, that's just what rumors are saying over in Japan. All right, so getting rid of the LC eventually, as the RC and the LC flow into one coupe. Then they have the flagship performance car. This is we're estimating to be called the LFR. This has been around, this concept's been around since 2021. Was it Tokyo Auto Salon 2021? It's been around for a very long time. Maybe it was 2022 when this came out. But these coupes, like this one's 100% coming out, I would say, either in the Toyota or Lexus brand. My guess would be it has to be Lexus, as they're discontinuing the RCF. All right, so this one has to be unveiled in production form by the end of the year. We know they've been testing it around the world at multiple racetracks. I would say 99% coming to Lexus, and then there's always that 1% chance it comes to Toyota and Lexus. All right, and then the coupe down below, time will tell. We'll get some big reveals for Toyota and Lexus this year. I'm confident about it. What they're going to be for sure and when they are, I don't want to say too much. I think I might have an idea. Before the year's end, we're going to have some big reveals. Hopefully we get reveals of these vehicles, both of them, in the Lexus lineup by the end of the year. But I don't want to get my hopes up. And with the coming of these products, I don't want the LC500 to go away. The RC, I've never had an emotional attachment to it. I sold plenty of RCs when I was working for Lexus. I was there when it got the refresh for the 2019 model year. I remember seeing the upgraded triple beams on it. It was a beautiful design. It still looks fantastic. And it is a bit sad, but they've neglected the RC for so long that just like finally they're putting it down. The LC500 continues to get improvements despite it being old, long in the tooth as well, but it's perfect the way it is. I don't want them really to change the LC500. I want them to keep it around forever if they can in America, and just produce these new coupes alongside of it, because there's market for it. This is for the 911 people up top. This is for the average coupe person, the old lady who likes a Lexus coupe, and the LC500 is the aspirational coupe for the convertible. Maybe they just make it in convertible only. I'm okay with that. All right, it's not really a performance car anyways. It's just a sexy, an amazing sounding vehicle. So stay tuned. There's so much more Toyota Lexus stuff I got to get caught up on. I've been out of town for about a week at Disney with the family. I have a road trip review on the Honda Odyssey 2025 model coming down the hatch in the coming days. So stay tuned for that. And next week I leave to drive the new 4Runner in San Diego. So I'll see you guys for that as well. So much coming down the hatch, and I'm excited to share it all with you guys as we get this year started. And it's just guns blazing here in January. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Stay safe and peace out.